December 16th, 2014. Guys, this is a video that's got a lot of technical data in it, but it may be one of the most important that you've ever seen, and I want you to pay attention to what we're looking at. These are deformations in the Earth since 2009, and it's got to do with our poles shifting. Check this out, 2011. These hot spots are representing the affected areas. Notice off the tip of South America, off the west coast of Canada. See that? In Alaska, 2010, 2011. These are satellite measured differences. This is a very rapid change. The data's come out on this now. It's highly unusual, and it's got everything to do with our polar drift. And we're not talking about just magnetic poles anymore. This is what we've been talking about, the possibility of actually shifting the physical poles. Look at this up into 2015. This is in millimeters. You see this? These are actual raises and lowering areas in the Earth's surface, telling us the poles are shifting. We know that the Arctic vortex is in a crazy pattern. You guys in California are still cleaning up from mudslides and houses falling off cliffs and power outages. This is very important. This is a model deformation patterns from 2001 January to 2015. This is everything to do with the polar drift. This is the Earth's pole. These are the green line, and I'm going to read the data that you're seeing is the average line. The red and black lines are the X and Y deviations. Check it out in the year 2000, guys. These are polar abnormalities. In 2010 was when the Japan quake hit. During that period after 2000, after that sudden change, that in 2004, the Great Sumatran quake, 250,000 people lost their lives. Pull back up, and I'll give you some of the explanations and show you the data. Again, the green line average, the deviation in these times. Now, this is the latest chart. These coordinates on this chart usually are 30 days old. But now we're dealing with both the physical and magnetic poles now. That's got everything to do with the polar shift, guys. That's how much trouble this planet could be in. That's how rapid. Now this will gives you the definition of the lines there. Your X and Y axis, the deviation. Your green is the average of the model. It says the importance to the accuracy of the geodetic time series is as follows. First, listen. The rapid deviation of the poles since 2005 results in a deformation patterns of Earth which is inconsistent with that experienced over longer periods. You see that? It's abnormal. That's not the way it's supposed to be. For example, post-2005 geodetic site velocities are not representative of 20th century deformation rates or even those of the full space geodetic period, 1980 through the present. Now, any of this you can pause and read it, guys. I'm going over the data that's, it was many pages, trying to get it down to a few paragraphs. But it says the minima of the degree, these are the deformation, is -2 to order -1 are located over Europe. That's the minimum in the South Pacific. The maximum located over North Pacific, near Alaska, and south of Africa. You saw that in the bright red patterns. Now it goes on to say, and listen, this pattern is 90-degree rotated in longitude from the pattern of deformation driven by glacial isostatic adjustment. 90 degrees, guys. Everything's tilting to try to counterbalance. It says as a result of the most recent deviation of the poles being nearly orthogonal to its longer-term direction of motion. The spatial pattern of anomalous deformation is such that Europe has decreased in elevation by up to 3 millimeters. Other areas are rising. It says the results of reevaluating are shown in Figure 3, the red lines, showing larger fluctuations in deformation rates compared with the cubic linear model, reaching a maximum deformation rate of 0.38 millimeters a year in 2009 before reducing to 0.10 in 2010. The implication is that the inferred change in the shape of the Earth using geodetic time series produced with the model will differ substantially from the actual changing shape of the Earth. They can't use that model. The magnitude of the difference is largely commencing in 2010 and is ongoing since the Fukushima earthquake. And it says, while this rate of mass loss has reduced predictions for both ice sheets or for increased mass loss through the coming decades, as such, Earth's poles will be expected to deviate even more strongly from its recent longer-term average motion. The conclusions of this project says rapid polar motion observed since around 2005 has resulted in large-scale elastic radial deformation of Earth. It's best expressed as spherical harmonic degree -2, order -1 signal. This effect reaches its maximum over the U.S. Pacific coast and South Africa. We saw that. Its minimum over Europe and South Pacific, producing up to 3 millimeters of uplift or downlift. Measurements of Earth's deformation since 2005 will therefore differ from the rate of deformation prior to and likely after. They're going to have to completely change this model, and you can see from our polar drift charts, it's not correcting, it says. It says, since an increase in melting of the ice sheets is expected in the future, more rapid polar motion will result and produce even larger deformations than those considered here. Revision to existing analysis approaches is consequently required, guys. This is Jeremiah. That's what Jeremiah is talking about, this shift in this earth. And look at how fast it's coming on us when the waves roar over the coast of every continent. When every nation is handed the wrath of God by Jeremiah. Think about that. Jeremiah is there at the end to hand the wrath of God, the cup, to every nation. Is he one of the witnesses? Read it for yourself, guys. This is important. This may be one of the reasons that the government is preparing so hard for. They know this information is there. It's not mainstream. If you dig for it, you can get it, guys. I'm going to link to the article. It's a heads up. Be safe.